Hello and welcome. My name is Anastasia, and let's talk today about love at first sight. So I met a woman and she's happily married, seems like. Now she's been married for some time. They have 2 kids and they're like a really nice, good, solid family. Now her husband, it was not a love at first sight. Her husband actually won her over. She was not interested in him, but he was very persistent and he was very much into winning her over, and he was helping her out when she was a student, and so basically he won her over and she appreciates him very much, and they did get married. They have couple kids. Now everything seems to be good. The story goes, the story is perfect, right? But a few months ago she met a guy at a party that she never really even spoke to, and she could not stop thinking about him. She does not only could not stop thinking about him, she met him again at a couple other gatherings, and they never even went on a date. They never, besides hi bye, I mean, she never spoke to him, but she could not stop thinking about him. It came to the point that she wants to divorce her husband. And when she met me, she's not my friend, she's not my acquaintance, she basically, somebody referred her to me to ask a question, ask her why is it happening. And I will tell you later on what is happening with her. But is this the love at first sight, or is it just hormones, or is it just maybe the crisis of the middle age or something like this? But she says that she's very inspired. She feels really great. She feels like for the first time in her life she's doing the right thing. She's not scared to get divorced, to be left by herself. She's not afraid that her children will have to adjust between a mother and a father. She's just all in. She's like really, really serious. And why she asked me is because the society around her is basically, are you sure? Do you want to do this? I mean, you have a good husband, a husband that you love, that loves you, that does everything for you, and all that. She's actually a stay-at-home mom, so she doesn't even work. She has some kind of projects on the side, but not that much. So she came to me and she asked me this question. As I said, she's not my friend. I don't know the story too much. I only know what she told me. So obviously I only know the basics. But it gave me an idea to make this video and to kind of maybe talk a little bit on this subject, because I am asked very often, Anastasia, do you believe in love at first sight? And moving to the side, the energy, the mind work and everything, honestly, I wouldn't mind. It's not like I believe, but I think it's possible outside of energy work. I will get to that because I'm throughout my life I'm rather positive. I'm focused on good usually, so why not? I mean, why not for this to happen? But I'm going to be talking from an energy perspective today, and I will give you my examples, because things like this happen in my life as well. And since I'm very feminine, I have a lot of energy of water. I follow my kind of my passion, my pleasure, even though I have Mars in Capricorn. Mars in Capricorn is very strict, so my mind is always watching out for my good, but thanks God I'm more in tune with my emotions and my feelings. And I noticed that since I started following them, my life became so much better. But I still have a very strict masculinity inside of me. The masculinity that's basically is looking for, not looking, but prefers the perfect man on paper than maybe not. So we match with energy. As I always say, everybody, we all have a particular energy at all times. So this is me. And in my normal state, without particular excitement or without particular downfalls, I'm right here. So all the people in my life are on this level. So for the most part, all my clients, all my all my men, all my friends, my family are all the same. So they all somewhat successful. They all have they all travel. They all see the world. I mean, they are open to new experiences because I'm like this. Yes, men in my life are richer, thanks God, than me, but that's because they're masculine, so they have more money, I have more pleasure in me. But at the end, we balance each other. Now, The same with my clients. Some of them have more money. I mean, I have clients that are very wealthy, but then they don't have pleasure. So that's why we match, because I have what they need and they have what I need. So to be precise. So anyways, but we always meet like this. Now, if I will drop somewhat, my circle of friends and clients will change. My circle of men will change. Now, if I go up, like for example, let's imagine I hit the lotto, like really big, millions and millions of dollars. Now, I would probably still work with my clients because I enjoy doing it, but maybe I will raise the prices, or who knows, I don't know. Maybe I will just decide not to work for some time. So, and I will start maybe going to different places, traveling differently, and I will start meeting new people. So my circle of the people around me will change. Obviously, probably I will start dating different men because now I'm filthy rich. So that's how it is. Now, but usually we have all the same state, and that state ideally we should raise little by little, but not like this. And that's why a lot of people who win the lotto, who win something big, they go back to their level because they raise too fast and they don't ground them their new energy level. Now, so we attract everybody. Now, if somebody, so for example, I'm here and a man is here and he wants me, obviously, because we always want something that is higher. That's why we always want a better car, live in a better neighborhood, they have a better accessories. It's always like this. We always strive for the best because that's inspiring. So let's imagine you're here and there is a man who is who's a little lower, but he still wants you. Doesn't mean, look, he can be extremely wealthy, but maybe his health is not there. Like older men and then young beautiful ladies, they match because they balance each other out. So let's imagine he's here and he doesn't, so you're not really interested in him, but he's very much interested in you. So what does he do? If he will, for example, if he will start spending money on you, buying presents, taking you out to beautiful places, he will match. You see, his money will contribute where he's lacking in energy. And you guys will get to the same level and you will look like, oh, not a bad guy. I mean, he's treating me so nice, so maybe I should give him a chance. And you will probably stay with him until your energy is the same. And then one of you will start, either you will go up, maybe you, for example, he will be really sponsoring you, really giving you a lot of money, and you will start growing yourself. Maybe you will get a business, and then you will get again ahead of him, and and how much can he spend to get again. So you will, at one point, you will probably leave him, if you energetically at least. So do you know how it is now? Let's imagine that you're here and there is a guy who is here and he doesn't have money. I mean, he's close to you, but he doesn't have money, but he does want to win you over. So he's writing to you for years and years, hey, how are you, beautiful, good morning, beautiful, and all this, and you're just not buying it because that's not an energy giver. That's an energy kind of a person who fishes for energy. So he's not really, he wants to win you over, but he doesn't have the resources and he doesn't know how. Men, like women, sometimes they just, he could have won you over not with money, with something else. He could have been useful, he could give you really good intimacy, something like that. He could focus on himself. Even if he would focus on himself, he will raise himself, and maybe in no time he will be matching. Instead of wasting time on writing to you every day, he could have been focusing on something else. So, but this is something that everybody knows, right? You have admirers that are like basically in your life forever and ever, and they just annoy you, kind of. They write you and write you and write you, and you just you don't get nothing from it. You're basically annoyed. Sometimes when you're in a bad mood or when you're feeling lonely or something, you kind of answer them because you see, because you drop in energy and now you match in him. So his message seems to be like a breath of fresh air. But then you go up back to your level and again he annoys you. And that's just, it's absolutely normal. That's normal for everybody, for man and woman alike, for every single creature with the aura around them. Now, if a man, the man that basically contributed to your life somehow and he won you over, and you can stay with him forever and ever. I know families that live like this for years. It could be vice versa. It could be a woman that basically contributes with money or with social standing and gets a man that's maybe a little higher. That's just how it is. Usually those women are very masculine, and that's just part of our society. Now, what I wanted to say, what I'm coming to, why we're talking about this. The thing is that you will be staying with this person all the time until you get something inspiring. You see, this man that got on your level and kind of contributed with his resources, he is a temporary thing all the time. And he could be your whole life a temporary thing, but he's a temporary thing. Because if there is something so if you are staying here and the man finally got to your level, then you dropped a little bit, you will stay with this man. So for example, with age, maybe a woman gains a little more weight, she doesn't look after herself as much, so her energy drops. It's natural to drop the energy unless you work on your energy all the time. Maybe she had a few kids and she doesn't feel as great as she used to about herself, so her energy dropped, and now her man is like a savior. Before he used to be somebody she wouldn't even pay attention to, and now she looks at him like she admires him, so she might stay with him forever. But if a woman stays on the same level and the man on the same level, as soon as there would be something more inspiring, she would leave. You see, and that's the reality of life. That's the energetic match, and it's normal. That's why I always said, don't hold on to people. People come and go as they are. Now, don't leave people just because you have, I don't know, just because your ego told you to leave. But if you energetically outgrown the person, you don't need to stay, and that other person doesn't want to grow. Now, ideally, you should be with the person who you liked in the first 7 seconds. So you saw somebody and you were like, wow, like this. Why the first? It should be with everybody, not only with men, with every single one. You either like or dislike a person in the first 7 seconds, and then after the 7 seconds your mind switches on and start kind of either working for that person or working against that person, depending on your thoughts, on your perception of the life. Like how does it work? For example, so you go on a date, it's a blind date, you met somebody on Tinder, and the guy comes over, and you come downstairs and he's in the car. So he comes out of the car and he's like chubby and maybe out of shape completely, and maybe a little bald even, and you saw the pictures, the guy was hot and handsome and everything, and so now you saw him in person, you felt the energy and you turned off, you don't want to be with him. But then you look, the car is super nice, he wears a nice suit, he looks like a professional, he looks so nice. So your mind, after the first 7 seconds, switched on and basically telling you, give the guy a chance. Look, such a good candidate. I mean, he has a nice car. I mean, he's a hard worker. He dresses nice, so at least, he knows how to present himself. You see, if you would listen to yourself within those 7 seconds and you would tell the guy, listen, I'm sorry, the pictures don't match. We can be friends if you want, but that's it. But if you went with the mind, then you basically, okay, let me see, maybe I can get something from him. You lowering yourself, you lowering your energy. You see, if you were here and the guy came and you're not feeling him, so he's somewhere over here. I mean, he's still close to your energy, otherwise he would never come, but he's not on your level. Now, for you guys to be on the level, somebody, either he needs to go up, which he won't, or somebody has to go down, probably you. I mean, he can go up if, for example, you will see him and you're like, listen, I'm not really feeling you. And he's like, well, that's fine, let's be friends, but I do want to make you a present. I bought you a present, let's say, and he pulling out like a Chanel bag, and you're like, huh? So he raised himself very fast. But how often does it happen? That doesn't happen that often unless a woman is really, really confident and really believes that she deserves all the best, right? So that doesn't happen too often. Usually a woman drops herself, so she tells herself, okay, well, I can go to a dinner, that's not a big deal. and here it starts. She dropped herself a little bit. He assumes that she's now on her level. He doesn't even want to try hard. He was trying hard because she was out of his reach. Now she's on his level, and he, there's nothing to do. She's already on his level. So the 7-second rule is very important. I want you to observe yourself. Walk, take a walk and look at people and see what your energy says about them. I used to do it all the time, and I would go for a walk. I used to to live in New York at that time, and I would go for a walk, and there are a lot of people, and I would feel with energy, without talking, without doing anything, just what I feel towards that person. And sometimes you would be surprised, the person that you shouldn't be feeling great, you're feeling great about, and the person that you should feel great, you feel like very weird, very strange kind of feelings. So I'm going to tell you my story, and hopefully, and after my story, I will tell you what I think about love at first sight. Now, why I'm going to tell you my story, obviously, you know, I'm kind of not a very extroverted person to share like this, but I already told this story before, so I don't mind. And plus, I want you to kind of to get inspired and hopefully start listening to your feelings and emotions before you will make any kind of decisions. So I've been in a dating game for some time, you know, I've been married a few times, I've been engaged many times, and I had long-term relationships, short-term relationships, I mean, everything. So I could say I'm kind of an expert in this. If I would do everything again, if I would start my life, when did I start dating? Like dating, maybe when I was 22. So if I would start with that, I would remove every single guy that I didn't feel excited in the first 7 seconds. And before I did this, before I decided to record this video, I actually sit for like an hour. I remembered every single of those wasted relationships, and I was thinking, what if I wouldn't date him? Would my life be any different? Or what if I wouldn't marry that guy? Would my life be any different? And I was like, no, my life probably would be better. So, and even though I'm very much into experiences, I guess I needed those experiences to come to this kind of conclusions. So this would be what I do. This is something that I would do. I would remove everybody that my feelings and choose that I drop myself to be with, and they obviously, I don't think whether they appreciate it or not. It's just how it is. Now, masculinity overall is rather draining. You have to feed them with energy. And if you choose, it's normal. Men take energy, women support them with energy, men support women with money. That's how it is. This is energetically normal, because men give security, women gives pleasure, and then they create together. That's how it is. Now, men that you choose with your mind are extremely energy draining. Why? Because you're giving him energy when you are not receiving. When there is no creation and no excitement. Creation doesn't mean that you will have to have children with him. Creation means that you are excited enough to do something while you're with him. And I will get to that. I will get to that point a little later. So when you're with the man that your mind chose, and he's not even giving you what you want, like for example, he's paying for rent and and that's it. He's not buying you presents, he's not taking you on trips. It's like a job, you know. You go into the job and you know that you have to do it because you need to kind of survive somehow, but you hate it, and you finish the job, you come home and you're like all drained because you just could not stand it. You go there because you had to. This is the man that you choose with your mind. Now, if a man is somewhat rich, but you still chose him with your mind, you're not really much attracted to him, but he's somewhat rich, so occasionally he gives you presents, he gives you some money. It is better because it's like a job where you come, and every day you come, they give you like a little bonus. So you come in the morning to work and they're like, here, $50 for lunch. Or next day you came and here's some flowers to put on your desk so you feel better. Now, this is a job you still hate it, but at least you feel a little better because you have some energy coming in. You feel more excited. So, but still, it is a torture. It is a job. You see, it's something that you need to be in. It's really. I just wanted you to understand how it is. You will be, even if to the job that you're coming and they're giving you some kind of bonus every time, you still will feel drained and anxious. And at one point, you'll be like, I don't even want these bonuses anymore. I'm done. And that would be normal because, again, you're choosing with your mind. Remember, the mind is like a strict parent. It watches over you. It wants you to be safe. Really, the mind doesn't especially care whether you're miserable or not miserable, as long as you are alive. That's what the mind is. The mind is only there to protect. Like your parents probably say the same. If it would be in your parents' kind of power, they would lock you in and wouldn't allow you to do nothing. But you're here to experience life, to live the life. So So that's basically it. And here, if you would go to a job, right, usually you would probably notice when I had a job, I mean, I enjoyed what I was doing. I really enjoyed working with clients. It was kind of exciting for me, seeing their money growing, raising their capital. I didn't like the corporate headache much, but I truly like enjoyed. But I was not as productive in that corporate world when somebody was telling me what to do, when as I am productive now when I actually do what I like to do, you see? And this is the difference. So no matter if you are with the man that's basically paper smart, you will never be as creative, as productive as when you are with the man who is whom you enjoy. And that's just it. This is I put the same in the relationship. You can choose somebody with your mind, but it will drain you dry in a few years, and then the man will probably find somebody else, or you will be so exhausted that you will start fighting with him, and you will just live, and you will just, like, you know how sometimes they say, I've been in a relationship for 20 years and there is and all is left of me is just a shell of me. That's what happens, you see. If you don't have an inspiration, it will be very hard for you to create, even to live. Now, for masculine women, that's not bad, and I see a lot of masculine women that are in relationship with men they don't like. Really, why? Because they have different interests. They are very self-centered, so they really don't care. Yeah, the man is draining, but they have that much energy to drain. So usually they go to a therapist to get some energy. They go to spas here and there, and they get energy elsewhere. So they distract. This woman can stay with the same man for years and years, as long as he is beneficial to them, and they wouldn't nothing. Like, they can really tolerate it. A feminine woman, it will be hard on her. Really, it would be hard. And I put here, unless you are able to distract yourself somehow, maybe children, maybe career, maybe other priorities, you will start hating a man and yourself little by little. You see, this is what happened with the woman that I started this video with. She, they started having kids. First, it was he was buying her presents, he was taking her on vacations. It was exciting. Then they started having kids, so she was all in kids, and then she has like small kind of do-it-yourself DIY, what is it called, project. So she does make a little money. So she was always like a little not really, the man was not a big focus on her. Now I have in my life, I had men that I chose with my energy, and I chose with my mind. I had different men, and I think the man that I chose with my energy, I mean, my mind was basically just rolling its eyes. But I'm glad that I stood by my energy at that time, and I chose those men. I chose those men at that time because I was high. I was high on my own energy. I was strong enough to say no to my mind. I basically went against my mind. I proved my mind that I would benefit from this. The first time this happened to me, I'll give you a few examples, was in school. So I'm not going to go into that because I was not yet of age of maturity. So, and there was nothing really. It was like just looking at each other and fighting. But that was the first boy. He was in high school. Well, no, I actually had some crush even before that, but that was really not serious. This was somebody who was really serious. I remember I was a teenager and I was start really liking somebody. He was the first, the second, I would say. The third one, and like more serious, was already when I was in the university. He was my professor, and when I met him the first time, he was not my professor. He was nobody. I was basically walking on the street, and he I don't know, somehow bumped into me or something, and he started talking to me, and I was not really interested. I was intimidated by him. You see, it's always like this. You're always intimidated because he was tall, he was, somewhat handsome, he was young. I didn't know what he was doing, honestly. He told me he's something, he works in the university, so I thought maybe he's some helper there or something, because he was very young. Professors are usually kind of old. So, and he basically asked me to go out with him, and I was very intimidated, not sure about myself, and I told him yes, and I never showed up, so it was really bad. Now a year passed, I was in the university and I studied linguistics and translation, and we had different kind of, you had to take different courses like here, and one of those were some legal studies. Now because we were not lawyers, future lawyers, we were future interpreters, it was like a basic course. You need to know particular laws, particular something. So but it was the whole year, basically 2 semesters we had to take them. And guess who was my professor? This guy. He was, I mean, that whole year I was basically walking on eggshells, because I didn't know whether he recognized me or not. I didn't know whether he wanted to talk. I didn't know what he thought about me not showing up to the date. I didn't know nothing, and I was afraid to face him and address him. But he kept me very much, like I was always, because I had somewhat crush on him. I mean, he was handsome. It just, I couldn't believe that he would choose somebody like me. I mean, look, like I'm beautiful, but there were girls that were like gorgeous. They were almost 6 feet, you know, long legs, they're blonde, you know, big blue eyes and everything. And because usually professors would go for somebody like that, and he went for somebody like me. I mean, I'm beautiful, but at that time I didn't know that. So I was really, really intimidated. And that whole year, I mean, I think I never studied law that much as in that year, because I was afraid I was supposed to go to, I was dreaming to go to United States, and you know, I knew that I need to pass his subject before I could. So anyways, that year passed by, and it was like, really, I was studying my best. We never spoke one-on-one, like at all. As soon as the class was over, I was the first one out. I never came in the first, so I never really, I never asked him any questions. Like it was crazy, you know, it was so not me. And he saw that I was all like, I couldn't look at him, I could not. And the day of the exam came, and when the day of the exam, I mean, I studied like I never studied for nothing before. I mean, I really, I knew that book from top to bottom. I knew all the laws. I mean, I was like that exam was, I was ready. And he was surprised because I was so good. I mean, it was law, it was something that we'll never use, you know. It's like math for us, something that nobody is interested, but you just need to pass just to have the credit. So and when I came, he was so shocked, because I really give such an extensive answer. I was so prepared. And I depended on that exam. I mean, I needed to pass it, because at that time I already knew I was going to United States. I was going to United States for a particular program, and I needed that pass. Now, he was surprised to see me there. So we were like a group of girls that were doing the exam a little earlier, so we could go on this program. And he was surprised, and he was very disappointed. So he actually examined everybody, and I was the last. And trust me when I tell you, I was sweating. I mean, I was so nervous. It's my crush, the guy that I like, the guy that I stood up, the guy that I haven't spoken the whole year. I didn't know whether he remembers me or not. And I mean, it was very nerve-wracking. So when I passed my exam, and he basically he put, you know, the mark, the sign and everything. He gave me the little book, and everything seems to be good. And he said, why didn't you never come to the date? You know, because you see, I didn't depend on him. I already had my pass, and I didn't know where to look. And he said, you thought I wouldn't remember you? And you know, so I was happy that he spoke to me. I was not as intimidated no more. I actually could look at him. And he said, well, now you're going to United States, so I don't know whether we'll see him. And there was no more law courses in the future. So, but what I want to say is that that guy, even though I never spoke to him, even though we never really went on a date. I mean, I spoke to him only the first time, and then when I was his student. But he really contributed to my life. I will tell you how. So that was another good example. And then there was another example, a few examples in New York. I'm not going to go through all of them. But there was one example in New York, and the guy was, it's in very interesting circumstances. I was very high on energy at that moment. I was really like flying through my days. I was really ready for something to shake me up. I was ready for the new level. And because I was kind of a senior in my position, I used to be like left in charge of the whole kind of operations. And you know, whenever the manager or somebody was not there, I was kind of looking like watching over. And this happened one day when I was there, and we were almost like, it was almost the end of the day work. And I met this so there was this guy. He came in, and if you know me, you know that I don't see too far. I wear contacts, so at that time I was wearing glasses. And but I wouldn't wear glasses all the time. I would wear them, and if I don't have clients, if I'm just walking around or something, I would just take them off. Now, so I didn't have my glasses, and there was somebody who came in, and I saw he was talking to the you know, to like a receptionist, host as well. And at that moment, when I saw that guy, look, I didn't see him very much because I didn't have my glasses on, but I felt this huge energy, this surge of energy. The guy was far. He was maybe 50 meters from me. But I felt that energy. I was not myself. I felt very intimidated. Even though I didn't know who he was. There was just a guy, he came in, he was talking to somebody. I didn't know what, like, he could have been anybody. He could have been one of the vendors. He could have been just somebody who is lost. But yet I felt the energy from far, far away. Now I had to help him. He was not somebody who potentially was qualified to be my client, but there was nobody else. It was like one of those incidents where there was nobody who can help him. He didn't speak, he would have never been my client. Why? Because he doesn't speak none of my languages. He didn't have enough, at that time at least, enough money on his accounts to even be my client. He was nowhere to be qualified, but yet the universe brought us together somehow. So I basically had to get a translator. I had to remember what I need to do to help him, because I obviously was not doing what he needed like for a long time, but I got a support on the phone. I mean, I was able to help him somehow. Now, I was very, very intimidated. Just like with that professor, I was very intimidated. The guy was really, I felt the energy very strong. Now, did we become together? No, not at that moment for sure. That maybe a year later, when I was again very, very high on my vacations, and we were not for long together. Maybe a year and a half on and off. But this is what I want to tell you. Why am I bringing all those examples? All those examples were loves at first sight. That's what you would call it. It was not. It was an energetic match. You see, a strong energetic match. Even maybe a little, they were high a little bit than me. And because it was such a strong energetic match, because I was able to, I was instantly attracted to them. Now, I was not aware of that attraction, so I was scared. And that's why I was intimidated. But every single of those guys improved my life hugely. Why? Because when they were in my life, I was creating my life. I was growing my life, developing in my life. Like, for example, the guy in high school, I really graduated with straight A's. I mean, I always was a good student, but when at that moment I really overdid myself. And I wasn't doing it for him. I was just so inspired. I graduated with straight A's, and I got into university. I mean, I was working part-time. I was like all over the place. When I got that professor, right, because I was so inspired. I mean, I never spoke to him. I never dated him. I don't know nothing about him. I only know his name. In that year, I was able to get enough energy to get myself into a program to go to United States. And I'll tell you, not everybody goes because you need to have money. And my family did not at that moment had these resources to take me. But I was able to get myself. So you see, I was growing. I grew with one. I grew with the second one. Then I grew with a couple more in United States. And with the last one that I told you about, I grew really big. Really within couple months that we were dating together, I got a promotion like this. That was the first one. Then I completely changed my whole look. I mean, I was like, my money started coming very easy. With the guys that I was maybe temporarily, but yet they were love at first sight. I grew hugely big. Now with men that I was there were men that I was in relationship for years and years and years. With those men I never grew. Actually I regressed, I would say. Couple men that I was for a long time, I gained a lot of weight. It was very uncomfortable. I felt very sluggish. I felt with one my thoughts were about committing suicide non-stop. Can you imagine how drained I was? And he was a good guy. For my mind, he was the perfect guy. And he was the one who actually pushed me out of his life, thanks God. Now with the other one, I gained a lot of weight and I was like exhausted, I was drained. And what do you think he did? He started cheating on me. Why? Because I was drained. I hope my stories, I hope my stories will inspire you. Now, you will ask me, Anastasia, what about the first love? What about the love at first sight? Do you believe in it? Yes, I do. But I don't believe it's a love at first sight. I believe it is a strong attraction. It's a strong attraction and you should follow that attraction. You see, if you will follow those emotions and you will go for that guy, you will grow, you will see. I had a guy like this very recently. He was younger than me, somewhat young, I don't know how much younger. But I felt that connection. The only thing is I had different plans, so I went with my plans, obviously. But till now, I think sometimes, because when I met him, I wrote the whole money course. If you didn't take my courses, please do. But the money course was written thanks to him. You see, when you meet with somebody like this, you have enough energy to create something, and usually you create that something in your life. Now, somebody once told me, one of my clients, if I will follow my emotions, then I will be ending up with the young guys that are masculine, strong, and everything. No, that's not like this. You don't go for everybody. And even if you, like, for example, you go for a guy like this who is young, who is masculine, who is not really serious in life, if you will go with your emotions, he probably will become somebody serious. He probably will be able to get the money. And I told you those examples as well. As long as you will stay in your role as a woman. Now, if you think, I wrote here, if you think that I'm delusional and there is no such thing as love at first sight, I don't really care whether you believe me or not, because I don't really believe in love at first sight. I believe in the energy match at first sight. I am usually positive, so I like this. But energetically, without all the emotions, energetically we match with somebody or dismatch. If we have a person in our life who we don't really like, but they are in our life, so they are somewhere close or somewhere far, if we like but we are not with the person, like this. So somebody who is around your energy level, somebody who is too low from your energy level will never even come to your, to you. Like I've been traveling for almost a year now, and every place I come, I always meet people on my level. Yeah, there probably are people that are not on my level, but for some reason they somehow skip my presence. So that's how it is. Now, you cannot outdo the energy. Energy is everything. So remember that your mind is a strict parent that will protect you, protect your existence. You see, when you feel super excited, why was that professor and then with that guy, I did not end up together? Because for me it was a scary thing